that was affected during the Trump administration. Now, I definitely want to say this at the beginning of this broadcast, that this video is not about hating a particular group of people. It is not about being dogmatic and going after a group of people. What this video is about is to reach out to the Black African American community and shake you and let you realize that it is time for you to wake up and to become those people, our people, that our ancestors was enslaved for, what they suffered and sacrificed for. This has to do absolutely nothing with any other group of people except for us. It is time to stand up and be who we were destined to be. Now, I'm going to begin off with initially with the article regarding the funding, and also I'm going to cover how much funds that just this year alone within the Biden administration that could very well have paid for reparations that went to people or is proposed to go to people that are not citizens of this country. They are not they have not shed their blood, sweat, and tears. They have not been the group of people that was enslaved in this country. But however, these funds are going to propose to go to them. Also, I'm going to, in this broadcast, to remind you of other situations that has happened recently regarding Black people and immigration as far as expulsion. And finally, we're going to come up with some solutions. And those solutions are the 10 points of reparations and where to go, what to do, and how to begin to reclaim who you are and understand exactly what is going on here. So we're going to begin off with, again, the article regarding the $450 million. Okay. So we'll start off. The U.S. is in talks to pay hundreds of millions to families separated at the border. The government is considering, which is the Biden administration, is considering payments to $450,000 per person affected by the Trump administration's zero tolerance policy in 2018. The Biden administration is in talks to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 per person in compensation, according to people familiar with this matter. Several agencies work to resolve lawsuits filed on behalf of parents and children who say the government subject them to lasting psychological trauma. Okay, I'm going to stop right there on that. Do we want to discuss lasting psychological trauma? If the Black community, African American community, is not the epitome of the psychological trauma over the years through slavery, our ancestors, please tell me exactly who is. The U.S. Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services are considering payments that would amount to close to $1 million per family through the final numbers, and it could shift. The people familiar with this matter said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link into the chat box for you to be able to read this article for yourself. If they suffered lasting psychological trauma and are awarded $450,000 per person. Now, we're talking about per person. Then please tell me exactly what our ancestors went through. Tell me, please. Share with me in the chat what our ancestors went through. Now, I'm going to show you the statistics on those that were caught at the southwest border within the last few years. And you can check this out. All righty then. Now that is per 100,000 people. All right. So now we're talking about, we see that, they're in talks, $450,000 per person or $1,000,000 per family because they were psychologically traumatized, because they were at the border, and we need to pay them. Okay. So next we want to also see where the other funds that have come through this year that could also be used for the African American community as far as reparations. On September 7th, Biden asked Congress for $6.4 billion to relocate Afghan refugees. The article goes on to say the Biden administration is calling on Congress to allocate $6.4 billion to assist in the multifaceted historic mission of relocating Afghan refugees. Senior administration officials briefed reporters on the request, presented the form of a new continuing resolution Tuesday afternoon, and outlined in the separate categories where the funds would be applied. Okay, we covered this story, and we understand that they are allies. They suffered going through when Biden pulled out suddenly and left Americans there. Some of your loved ones and some of my loved ones and your loved ones left them there. But he has, now wants 6.4 billion for to assist them in coming. So I'm going to also put this article in the chat for you to go back and read for yourself. So we now have, let's recap. We got $450,000 per person or $1,000,000 per family for people that cross the border illegally and in 2018. And as the lawsuit says, they suffered lasting psychological trauma. Okay. And if we as Black people, African Americans, haven't suffered lasting psychological trauma, then I need you to put in the chat exactly who has. Okay. So I believe that the basis that they're standing on their lawsuits for, we need to stand on our lawsuits. Okay. Now, this is also just another reminder of when and where the Biden administration reminded Black people exactly how they felt about you immigrating to their country, to this country. U.S. expels nearly 4,000 Haitians in 9 days as part of a deportation blitz. Now, these These people were, in just 9 days, the United States expelled nearly 4,000 Haitians, including hundreds of families with children, without allowing them to seek asylum as part of ongoing deportation blitz to the countries ravaged by natural and man-made calamities. The Biden administration has carried out the mass expulsion under an emergency pandemic era known as Title 42, which was first enacted under former President Donald Trump to the dismay of advocates for asylum seekers and Democrats. Right, but they didn't stop him. The pace and scale of the expulsion to Haiti, a country where deportation flights were suspended last month because of a deadly earthquake, could make Operation one of the swiftest and largest campaigns of immigrants by air. Okay, so that is just a reminder for you as to how expediently and how this administration has felt about you. Again, I'm going to share the article, the link to that article in the chat so you can read it for yourself. Like I said, we come with receipts. Now let's talk a little bit about reparations here. Now, there's a plan out there. There's probably several plans, I'm sure, regarding reparations. But what do we need to do? What we need to do is first, do not vote for these people. They do not like you. The Democrats, they do not like you. Especially, you can see what this administration is doing. When they come to your churches, no, get up and go out. Do not allow them to continue to ride you like a pony to get your vote. And then when after the election's over, they forget about you, and it's time to pay $450,000 per person or $1 million per family, and to ask for $6.4 trillion for other people haven't paid a dime in taxes. I'm just saying. Okay, so what we need to do is to vote with our feet. It's past time to the picketing, all of this, picketing is good, if you want to, but one thing about it, people understand when you hit them in the pocketbook, when you hit them at the voting booth. Do not allow them in your churches. Do not allow them into your business, because you see where the money is going. Follow the money. Wake up. It is not going to you. It is not going to reparations. They have absolutely no plans on giving you anything. Hundreds of years has passed. Okay. So what do? We demand our reparations. It is over. No need to get violent. No need to get loud. No need to get all of that. Begin to vote with your feet. Demand what is needed to be demanded. So now I'm going to share my screen with the plan for reparations on this site. It's the NAARC 10-point reparation plan. Like I stated, I am positive there are other reparation plans out there, but this organization has one already ready. The National African American Reparations Commission. First, they say that a formal apology and establishment of African American Holocaust Institute. Okay, that's beautiful. But all of these statues, holidays that they just throw out there, they give you a holiday, they give you a statue, and you're supposed to be satisfied. No, I don't need your apology. Give me my money. Give me my 40 acres and give me my mule. Okay, give me cash or give me, of things of substance. I don't need your apology. I don't need to dog anybody. I just need my 40 acres and my mule. Okay. Now, their second point to this plan is the right of reparations and creation of African knowledge program. Okay. Again, let's get to the money and let's get to my 40 acres and a mule. I am all about educating and everything. You see that they do not put Black history into the school system. And you also know, if you don't know, that history has changed to highlight and magnify a certain group of people. So let's just not even go there. I don't need that. I need my 40 acres of a mule. So here we go. Right. The right to land for social and economic development. This is where I want to be. We need reparations. I don't need an apology. I don't need your education. I can look it up and we can teach our own kids. After centuries, let me read part of this. After centuries of free labor that fueled the commercial and industrial revolutions in the United States, enriched those at the helm of capital and finance, and created opportunities and a sense of privilege for Europeans of every social economic strata, enslaved Africans were emancipated without being granted a material stake in the form of land resources, e.g., 40 acres and a mule. Okay, that's what I want. I'm going to put the um, link in the chat for you to be able to visit this plan and to get in contact with this organization, because it is time for action. All of this chitter chatter, is over. I know there's elections coming up in several states next week. Ignore them. Ignore them. Ignore them. It is time to begin to stand up and show your people that you have pride, because they have played Black people long enough. Now, the fourth point of the plan is fund for cooperative enterprises and socially responsible entrepreneurial development. Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful too. Resources for health, wellness, and healing of Black families and communities. Okay, I am a child of God, and I know that um, the government cannot heal me. Okay. Well, it's great to have health and wellness programs and all of that. But I'm talking about as far as healing for the damage that has been done to my ancestors, your ancestors, and our people. All of this is great. But again, let's just get back to the 40 acres and a mule. You start with that, Biden administration, and then we can, maybe we can find a vote for some people or whatever. Education, number 6, is education for community development and empowerment. Again, we're back to the education part. Affordable housing for healthy Black communities and wealth generation. Well, let's stop here. If you give me my 40 acres and my mule, if you give everyone that deserve, which is descendants of slaves, their 40 acres and a mule, this right here, we don't need. We don't need affordable housing. Give us our 40 acres and our mule. In today's society, a mule would be the equivalent of a John Deere tractor. We can, I can build, I can plant, I can build, I can do whatever I need to do. Give me my 40 acres and a mule. All of this is wonderful. Again, this is a site that I want you to go. Strengthen Black America's information and communications infrastructure. Again, they're not interested in that. But again, this is a great point, a bullet point. Um, Number 9, preserving Black sacred sites and monuments. Okay, that sounds good. Again, I can put my own monument up. Give me my 40 acres and a mule. Number 10, repairing the damages of the criminal justice injustice system. Now, I can definitely agree with that, because there is definitely some injustices that has happened. Again, this site is the NAARC, and it is the African American Reparations Commission. I'm going to ask you all to go to this site, get on these points, reach out to these people, see how you can help, because at the end of the day, all of this, we love you, let me give you a statue, let me give you a monument of this person that died unjustly, let me give you a holiday, or let me give you, I don't need that. we can fend upon our own with our 40 acres and a mule. Do what is right, do what was agreed upon, and do not settle for anything less. Again, do not allow any of these politicians in your church, in your pulpit, and any pastor that allows any politician in their pulpit needs to be ashamed. That is not the place for them. But they can tell you that there's a separation of church and state when it's convenient for them. But then now, because they want you to vote for them so they can spend more money, again, $450,000 per person, per person that crossed the border illegally in 2018 regarding the they said that they let's put this article up again because it is just unbelievable, the foundation of their lawsuit, that they are considering to pay, but they're not paying we as Black people our reparations. Again, it says, let me highlight this sentence. The Biden administration is in talks to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Biden administration around $450,000 per person in compensation, according to people familiar with the matter, and several agencies to work to resolve lawsuits filed on behalf of parents and children who say the government subject them to lasting and psychological trauma. Now, that's the foundation of their lawsuit. Any attorneys in here, we ask you to share, publish this video. If there are any attorneys in here, we need to have some lawsuits going on for our reparations for lasting and psychological trauma. Okay, lasting and psychological trauma for our ancestors that was beaten and enslaved and brought over on a ship across the ocean to a land that we were not, for the lasting psychological trauma that our men was beaten, dehumanized, castrated, torn away from their families. Yes, that lasting and psychological trauma. The lasting and psychological trauma where our women was raped and beaten and children torn from them. Yes, let's talk about lasting psychological trauma here. Let's talk about lasting psychological trauma. Families that never got to see each other ever again, being enslaved for hundreds of years. Lasting and economical reparations is the only answer. Lasting psychological trauma is the foundation of their lawsuit because they stood at the border and was separated. $450,000 per person or $1 million per family. Let's get a grip here. Do you know how much money that's going to cost? That's our reparations money. And we have a right to demand it. $6.4 trillion to rehome and bring Afghans to America. Your tax dollar. You get up and go to work every day. You get up and do and have worked for years. Your family has worked. When it's time to pay taxes, you have to pay them. So we can give away this money and not get anything back because they stood in line and dealt with the parents and the children that became here. Lasting psychological trauma. Okay, attorneys, let's get on it. It is time for reparations. It is time for reparations. Again, all of these links are in the chat. I encourage you to come in and review. Again, like I said, it's very important for you to go to the reparations page and began to look at the 10 points. But my thing is, give me my 40 acres and a mule. I don't want to hear anything else regarding funding anybody else, because this has to be voted on and approved. So let's get people in office that are talking about reparations. And if they're not talking about reparations, or if they're talking against reparations, then we need to counsel them. Let's learn to count. Let's show people how to truly counsel, what counsel really means. I'm not in for the counsel culture unless it is warranted. Even our own that says, no, we don't need reparations. Just give us a statue, give us a holiday, give us. No, I cannot make any money. You cannot make any money. You cannot increase on a statue, a holiday, and a weekend, a month. I don't care. We need our 40 acres and a mule. And it's time to go to reparations plan or any other plan. If you know of any, go there. It is time to start asking these people that's running for office. If you need to ask them, like I said, elections next week, some places, if they do not stand for reparations, you know not to vote for them. If they come in your church and you need to ask the question, first of all, they don't need to be there in the pulpit. Number one, we're not even going to go to spiritual. We're keeping this totally surface here. But if they do get up in your pulpit, you need to get up in line and ask them, what is your position on reparations? If they don't have an answer, or the answer is not right, that we are planning on reparating the Black American, African American community, you need to turn around, walk out, and make sure you don't vote for them. It is time to make people accountable. I'm going to say this. J. Edgar Hoover said he'll have you all, Black people, I'm not going to use the word he used, voting for them for 500 years. Now it's time to wake up, people. You can be a fool all day, all you want to, but it is time to wake up. All righty. Again, I don't know whether these platforms are going to take down our stuff, but it'll definitely be put up on our Roku channel. And make sure that you reach out to us if you have any comments or questions or need direction in what to go. Let us know. But as I stated before, it is time to hold these people accountable. No more holidays. No more holidays. No more statues of dead people. None of that. Reparations is the only answer. It's the only answer. Just like when Biden, before he was elected, he was just, ooh, all black people, all black people. But then don't forget, he told y'all that you weren't black if you didn't vote for him. All right. Okay. So then after his comment, then when he gets in office, he refuses to meet with you. All right. Remember these things. It is time to hold people accountable. It is time for us Black people to demand what is rightfully ours. Our ancestors did not go through this for no reason. You all be blessed. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you later.